We have seen the significations of Venus in the last class. This class, we are focused on what results will come with Venus in different houses. This will work both from the Lagna and also from the, the Kalpurusha's Aries. Okay, you can check it from both the places. So this is based on, as I said in the last week during the significations, this is based on Parashurama Avatara and also the stories around Shukracharya. So Shukracharya had a daughter called Devayani. It is her story as well that will be inside this, along with Parashurama. Okay, I would strongly recommend, please read these stories of Parashurama and Shukracharya. They are very easily available these days with the explosion of internet. Okay, if possible, watch a movie in your language, both on Parashurama and Shukracharya. There are enough videos of them. All right. So what we have understood from Venus, the last class, would strongly recommend please go back and read the last class, which deals with Venus significations. I'll try to brief out here for a minute. Venus is planet which tries to support marginalized people, right? Venus likes to support the marginalized people. Venus does not like flaunting, okay? So Venus does not like the luminaries. So sun and moon are his enemies because they flaunt or they are very bright, right? These are very symbolic, okay? So it does not mean that if they are together, they're going to oppose each other. No, it is not like that. If you read Parashurama's story, all the wealth Parashurama has acquired has been given to the sun. The sun, in the sense, it is either given to Kashyapa or it is given to Rama. Okay, so Venus likes Kashyapa very much because he has given away all the wealth that he has acquired, all the kingdoms that he has acquired or conquered with a quest which he did because of the father's death. Okay, and at last he said, look, I'm not a kingly man, I'm not a person of a Kshatriya caste, I'm a Brahmin by nature, but I have got a lot of Kshatra inside me, a lot of anger and lot of kingly nature inside me. That is why I conquered all the earth that is available. Besides that, I cannot rule. I do not know how to rule. So it is better that I find the right Kshatriya and give it away. So in different places, the story is said in a different way. At one instance, he gave it away to Kashyapa. Okay. He is also the Swarupa of sun. At some place, it is said that in the Ramayana, it is available that he met Rama and he decided there is no Parashurama required anymore because Rama has come. Okay. So he respects sun. Venus respects sun. Okay. However, he does not like the flaunting thing that the luminaries will do. Okay. So what we have to understand at this level of astrology is not the kid-like thing wherein if there is an opposition, they will oppose everything. It is like look at the human fabric, look at the society. If you have a friend and you try to do some introspection, saying, look, what are all those qualities that you like about that friend and what are all those qualities that you do not like about the friend. Okay, there will be definitely, if you like someone or even if you hate someone, there will be a few qualities of him. If you if you don't have any bias within yourself while you judge, if you have a very good Saturn and Venus, you will say, look, although he is my enemy, I would say these are all those qualities which are right about him, and these are those qualities which are bad about him. Probably that's why I hate him, because these qualities are very important for me. Although those qualities are there, the positive side, but I don't appreciate them much. Okay, hope you're able to follow. Similarly, planets will think. So Venus may not like the sun and the moon, but there are a few significations both of them will represent. So at that juncture, they will work together. So if they have the significations that are opposing, I mean to say, if one signification is promoted by sun, and if that signification is not promoted by Venus, that is where they will oppose. Otherwise, they will work together. For that matter, all the planets. Okay, don't go by simple understanding that, okay, Venus and Saturn are friends, Venus and Saturn and Sun are enemies. No, this is very kindergarten level of understanding. Not every time it is like that. Okay, now let's see when we have Venus in the Lagna. Okay, so when we have Venus in the Lagna, it is, as I always keep saying, all the 12 houses, all the 9 planets, there will be a positive side and there will be a negative side. Both will be there. You cannot say a planet placed at this place is good position, nor you cannot say planet placed at this place is a bad position. There is no bad position. There is no good position. Please, if you have ever heard of this, remove these from your minds. It will not work like that. All positions are equally good. All positions are equally bad. Okay. Responsibility of partner, kids, or profit thinking. See, look at Shukracharya. What did he do? He always stood by people who are marginalized, right? So let us suppose it's the case of a girl's chart. Okay, I'm talking about a girl's chart with Venus and Lagna. Now, the girl would say the Venus has to be close to the Lagna degrees. When it is even posited in the Lagna, in the Navamsha as well, this will be very, very clear. Okay. So the girl will say, look, my husband doesn't take care much of my kids. You know, all the time, I always carry my kids when they were till 2 years old. They never were on the shoulders of him. It was only me who was carrying the kids. Okay. And most of the time he's outside. So most of the time I was managing the kids. Okay. And the let's suppose if it's a man and he's in a business, the profit bringing and the responsibility of the well-being of all the partners will rely with this person. So this person becomes the spearhead to bring in profit for the company. Okay. The other things that where Venus can show up himself in the Lagna is having large eyes, having lustrous face. But for these two as well, you need the Lagna to be, the degrees of Lagna to be very close to the Venus's degrees. The Venus is very far off. Sometimes I would say use a Bhava Chakra instead of the Rashi Chakra to understand this thing. Okay. What is Venus? Venus exalts in the 12th house. Okay. So Venus tries to flaunt because he thinks sun and moon are flaunting. So unless I flaunt myself, this is the other way of looking it around. So unless I flaunt myself, I cannot, because Shukra means something that is very bright. Okay. Shukra means very bright. I have explained this in the last class as well. So Venus wants to display himself very brightly. So Venus in the Lagna, expensive jewelry, or even if it is an imitation, it would be very bright and shiny. The clothes that they wear or the perfume that they use, they always want branded things. If the person is rich enough, if the other combinations show that the person has enough money to buy branded good things, it is good. But if the other combination shows poverty for the native, then what happens is most of the times the native is spending a lot of money away in buying these branded clothes or false prestige kind of a thing people will get to hear, right? So he's trying to live the life of a rich man, although he is a poor fellow. Okay, this also can happen. Most likely he would like costly things which are not in his reach. Okay, this happens more and more if there are yogas for poverty, because the more and more poorer you are, the more is this Venus trying to flaunt himself. Okay. So how do we know whether it is a poor man or a rich man? There are combinations for it. I have taught you while I was teaching moon. Okay. Go to moon lectures. A few things I've explained there. Okay. So is there richness or not? It's a very big chapter. You have to see it from D1, D9, D10, from the moon. And most of the times moon is very, very important because moon exalts in the second house. Okay. And then when you have Venus in the Lagna, because he exalts in the 12th house, controlling expenditure is very, very difficult. Okay, if you have Venus very close to the Lagna, there is expenditure on some or the other account. Okay, unless the Saturn is very strong and also influences the Venus. Okay, by owning the house where Venus is placed, or I don't know, maybe the Venus is being aspected by Saturn, etc. It becomes very difficult for the person to actually control the flaunting or control the expenses that are unnecessary for the survival when bad times are there. However, they have a very great radiance, splendor in their face, and if little bit of support from sun and moon, such planets are there, and the Saturn is well placed, most of the times when they walk around, people will call them and give them business because they are very radiant, they're very bright. It is very easy to believe people who are very radiant and bright than it is to believe dark complexioned or dull people. Okay, don't take any offense here. Not every time you have Venus in the Lagna, I mean to say you are always, you have a very fair complexion. I do not mean to say that, but you have that radiance, or you might still be dark, but you will be very radiant. Okay, because the complexion comes from the second house in the Navamsha and also from the second house in the in the Rashi chart, because both will represent the face. All right. So Venus, if you see the story of Parashurama, I'm not going to detail the story here. You have to go back and read about Parashurama yourselves. Everywhere it is available. Parashurama had his mother was once, killed by Parashurama himself, and she was, using the Sanjeevani Vidya that his father had, Jamdagni had. She came back to life. Similarly, Parashurama's father was also killed when Parashurama was very young. So sun and moon, that is the father and the mother, are the father and the mother are the sun and the moon. So you have Venus in the Lagna. It is not very good for the parents. Okay, so either the parents are away from the child, the mother is gone early in life, or the mother doesn't like the child or the father doesn't like the child. No matter what the parents help the kid, the native, still the native is not able to cope up. There are some things about the native that cannot be changed, and the mother and father are unhappy about it, or the mother and father are not living, okay, or one of them is missing from the life. These are those things that you can expect. However, you need to have an observation of the divisional charts to confirm this, along with the dashas. You cannot jump in and say, okay, I've got Venus in Lagna, my mom is good, my dad is good, everything is good. It can still happen because your ninth lord, your fourth lord, those things that might be helping, along with the nakshatras that we use. You cannot use just one planet and jump over and say, oh wow, okay, this is the prediction. No, it never happens like that. You need to at least check 5 to 6 places. For sure, you need to check it from 3 to 4 places. One additionally will be the dasha. That is when you can confirm there is a problem. Okay. Usually Venus or the Parashurama has, while he was conquering or while he was working, he was constantly traveling. Okay, Venus also represents the travel because he rules what houses? 7th and 12th houses, which are important for traveling. Okay, besides 9th house, 12th house rules travel, and 7th house as well rules travel. Okay, and also Venus represents travel. So person working in a desk job may feel difficulty in retaining job or staying in job. Okay, if it is a transferable job or a job where travel is there, the job is likely to stick to the person for longer time. However, how do you check job? You have to definitely look at D9 and Dashamsha. Navamsha and Dashamsha, D9, D10, both have to be checked, without which, just by merely looking at Venus, don't jump. Okay. A lot of help Venus does to his subordinates. Okay. When Shukracharya came in, the Daityas or the Rakshasas, the Ditiputras, are all, they were in a very bad shape. They were thinking, look, the Devatas took away everything from us. We don't have anything. Vishnu is constantly supporting the Devatas. What do we do? That is when Venus came in, or the Shukracharya came in and said, look, I will stand against Vishnu and I'll teach you how to overcome all these issues. Okay. Although Venus or Parashurama never stood against Vishnu, he always made these people capable enough so that they can fight any difficult situation. And after Hiranyakashipa, if you see, Prahlada became the king. And later on, Mahabali came up to an extent. Mahabali is the grandson of Prahlada. Okay. So Mahabali came up to an extent of taking away the power of Indra, right? He would become the next Indra. And eventually the Vamana had to interfere and get away the kingdom from Mahabali and give it back to Indra. And promised Mahabali that, look, in the next Manvantara, you will become the Indra. He could not escape. See how powerful Mahabali became despite being a Rakshasa. It is all done by Shukracharya. So you can estimate the kind of power Shukracharya can give. Okay, if you have a very good Venus, you can do wonders in your life because it gives the strength and radiance, knowledge, everything much better than any other person. Despite all these bad things that you have from the Venus in the first house, the good thing is brilliance, radiance, and even if there are issues around, you can solve them very easily, provided you have to see the other combinations as well. Okay. So first house Venus, you have emotional responsibilities. Okay. So you have emotional responsibilities of everyone, your kids, your father, your mother, your husband or your wife, take whatnot. Okay. All of the emotional responsibility or emotional well-being of people are assuring people that, look, if something goes wrong, don't worry, I'm there, I'll support you, is what the person with Venus in the Lagna will keep saying it to his team of people, either in the family or at the office. Okay. And he will definitely help them out. Okay. So fifth, wherever Venus is there, the fifth from it is always protected by Venus. Okay. Venus gives enough strength to the fifth house from wherever Venus is placed. You know why? Because his subordinates come from the fifth house. Your children come from the fifth house. The Shukracharya has always lived his life for the well-being of his daughter Devayani. Similarly, Shukracharya always lived his life for the well-being of his subordinates, like the kings who were under him, like the Mahabali or the Prahlada. Okay, all these people were Shukracharya's Sishyas or the disciples of Shukracharya. So he would do anything for them. So any planets being in the fifth house from Shukra automatically gain the power of Shukra. Okay, so you can use this, it will work very well. If there are no planets, then just use that house. That house is very powerful. It helps, the Shukra tries to help him. Shukra tries to help that house. Okay, seventh house from the Venus. When Parashurama was walking, okay, on the street, if somebody gets to see Parashurama, he will be so radiant that you will catch up fire. Okay, so it may show that the person, wherever the Venus aspects, that person becomes very passionate, or that person looks like a very serious man or a cruel man. Okay. So wherever Venus aspects, you can see that that house becomes very passionate house for the native, or that particular house looks like a very serious man or a cruel man. In case of a woman, for example, if it's a woman horoscope and you have Venus in the Lagna, the seventh house will be of her husband. So it may so happen that the lady is very afraid of her husband to even walk up to him and talk up to him. Typical in older Indian, couples. This is most likely possible even in today's world as well. A lot of people, I mean, these people are very giantly looking. Okay, wherever Venus puts up his seventh drishti or seventh aspect, that person looks like a giant, and looks like a ferocious person. He could still be very calm from inside, but he would be very radiant and looking very, very serious and full of anger, etc. Okay, because of the heat that the Venus can transfer. All right. So Venus, the eighth house Venus, is difficult to enjoy comforts. So wherever, from whichever house Venus is in the sixth house, okay, we call that Bhrugushatka. Okay, from if you have Venus in the Lagna, from the eighth house, Venus will be in the sixth house. So there the comforts are denied. Okay, so the person may not enjoy the comforts from inheritance. Okay, so the person is self-made person, or the father has given a lot, but a lot is lost by the native himself. Okay. All right. So let's look at Venus in the second house. So Venus in the second house, let us look at Jamadagni and Renuka Devi. These are the parents of Parashurama. Devayani, Yayati, and Sharmishta. This is the story of Shukracharya's kid, Devayani. Okay, Devayani's husband is Yayati. Sharmishta is his girlfriend. Okay, you can please read these stories. They will be in very detailed. You may not still find Sharmishta as a girlfriend. She would be a maid, etc. And then eventually there's a big story. You have to read the whole story. There is no alternate for reading. Okay, you have to read. What does the second house usually represent? It's the family, the food, the speech, luxury, responsibility. All that will come from the second house, because you have a very good second house, then you have the luxury of doing things. Okay, because your father is a rich man. From the ninth house, the sixth house is the second house. So if your father had a very good routine, and if he was constantly working, because second house is the sixth house from your ninth house. If your father was constantly working and making money, what happens? He'll bring in luxuries for you. That is why your second house is your luxury. That is where the Venus starts. That is where the Venus owns the first house. So emotional responsibility of family, once again, either it is in the first house or in the second house, Venus is very happy to take responsibility of the marginalized people. So if there is someone in the family who is not being given enough love, this person goes there and tries to protect him. That is what Venus does. Okay. And Venus in the second can show eyes as well. So the person can have large eyes. Okay. However, it has to be close to the ascendant degree. Otherwise, if it is very far off, then that's a different case. Also, you need to check the second house in the Navamsha as well to see whether the eyes are very big or not. There as well, if you find Venus or Sun, etc., there you can see that the eyes are big. Okay. I will show some examples. Once we are through with these basics, we will do only examples, maybe after 5 or 6 months. We'll do only mostly examples. Half hour will be class, and later on it will be only examples, so that you will have a good understanding of it. But these are some things which you cannot avoid. That is why I'm trying to teach you as elaborately as possible. Okay. Liking for well-decorated interiors, liking for branded things. Okay. Generally comforts from the family. Generally gets comfort from the family. So Venus in the second house, interest of Vedas, poetry, singing, fine arts. These are those things that the person may have interest about. And it is difficult to change the routine. Okay, because wherever Venus is placed, the fifth from it, it tries to protect it. So Venus will stop a change there. Okay, Venus does not want to change there. It will protect it. Whatever status is there, it is protected. So don't think, okay, Venus protects in the sense it is a very good thing. Sometimes it is bad as well. It can be bad as well. Or a few good things and a few bad things. That is the right way of saying. Okay, the person cannot change the routine, and the person cannot pardon enemies. Okay, if there are enemies, the person shows no mercy on them. Come what may. Mother siblings are blessed with comforts. Okay, that's the positive side of it. And seventh from the Venus is eighth house. So interest in the occult, the Vedas, passionate or fearful or serious in-laws. As I said, wherever the seventh aspect of Venus falls, there you find passionate, fearful, or serious in-laws. Depending on what you're looking at is what you have to pick up from there. So people can be passionate. What does passionate people do? What do people passionate what do passionate people do? They'll be successful faster. They will try to go here and there, do this and that, and try to be successful. Okay, they can be fearful or they can be serious in the life. Okay, all these things can happen. From 8th from the Venus, that is from the 9th house, it will be in the 6th house. The Venus is in the 6th house from the 9th house. So it is a Bhrigu Shatka for the 9th house. So difficult to enjoy father's love or complete higher education or receive a Diksha from a guru, etc. These are those things that can be missing when you have 2nd house Venus. 3rd house Venus, let's look at that. You have, these are the brothers of Parashurama, the Rumanvanta, Shuhotra, Vasu and Viswa Vasu. Okay, these are the brothers of Venus or the Parashurama. So what does the 3rd house represent? 3rd house shows Abhagya, because the 9th house is the Bhagya, 3rd house is the Abhagya, or the practical nature or the atheism that is built up in the person, or where God cannot help. 9th house is where the luck is and God would help there. 3rd house is where there is no luck. It is only about your brain and your practice. You have to use your brain. God has given you brain. So you have to use your brain and you have to practice. If you guys are sending messages, I am not seeing them. That's okay. If you're leaving, you can leave. You don't have to inform. Okay. So the God cannot help in the 3rd house, right? And these are the initiatives for work which self has to take up. Atheistic attitude, online things, the 3rd house, communication, forgiving. Okay. So forgiving siblings or partners, inland travel, these are some of those things that you can see from Venus in the 3rd, because of the story where Rumanvanta, Shuhotra, Vasu and Viswa Vasu did not obey their father's command to kill their mother. Instead, Parashurama killed his mother on the father's command. Okay, so but Parashurama, after making getting the life back for his mother, he also asked his father to show some mercy on his brothers. Okay, so forgiving siblings or partners in the sense business partners, because 3rd house is also your enterprise. So if you have business partners, 3rd house can show, you're trying to show mercy on them. There can be inland travel because of the Venus. However, it's a sexual house. 3rd house is the Maithuna, the sexual house. Having Venus here is not very good, because you can pick up casual relationships. However, don't jump. Because relationships have to be judged even from the D9 and the dashas as well. Just merely having a Venus in the 3rd house does not mean you're picking up casual relationships. Okay. However, the person is unable to help father. Okay. Because these people could not help father. The Rumanvanta, Suhotra, Vasu and Vishwa Vasu did not obey father's command. Okay. So Venus in the 3rd house may not obey father's command or guru's command. Guru, what does he preach? So the person is not able to follow it. Or there are differences with the father, there are differences with the boss that he is working with, etc. So the fifth thing of the Venus, the protection of the 5th of the Venus goes on to the 7th house, where the person is trying to protect his wife or the spouse or the business partners. No matter what comes, he is going to protect them. Okay, like his kids. Okay, and then you have the 7th aspect. So this person is very strict, passionate, and serious. Who? The 9th. 9th is father or a boss. The boss is very strict, very passionate, very serious. Okay, this can happen. And then Venus will be in the 6th from the 10th house. If you have 3rd house Venus, the Venus will be in 6th from the 10th house. So it means that it will be difficult to enjoy the comforts from the job or siblings or cousins or father's wealth. Okay. This is what you can see from the Venus's 3rd house. Venus in the 4th house, Renuka is the mother of Parashurama. Kavya Mata is also the mother of Venus. So if you have Venus in the fourth house, Venus will be in directional strength. Usually people think, oh wow, it is a very good Venus and so on. Yes, it is. However, Venus is against Venus. Venus is against Moon. Okay. So Moon represents the mother. So being in the fourth house, Venus, it is not very good for mother. So it is very important for the fourth lord, the Moon, etc., to be placed very well. And then also look at the nakshatras and the D9 for the well-being of the mother. Okay. Otherwise, there are either rifts in the relationship with the mother, or there is no mother. Okay, etc. And the person can be very, very politically right when you have Venus in the fourth house. This person can follow Sukraniti kind of a thing, where it talks about politics without hurting the people's sentiments, how to do the Rajya or how to do the ruling. Okay. Do not think we don't have Rajyas today. Do not think we don't have any kingdoms today. It applies for every human being. You must be ruling something in your workplace. So there you're trying to follow Sukraniti. Sukraniti is not like the Raja thing. Sukra is half Brahmin and half Kshatriya. So the person finds a lot of loopholes and tries to be politically correct. If you don't understand what is politically correct, please try to Google it up. It will be useful. There can be jealousy by the native. I mean, the native himself is jealous, or the native faces a lot of jealousy from others. Okay. He could be ruling treasury, customs, arts, science, trends, morals, ethics. Okay. All these things. The Jupiter exalts in the fourth house. Okay. So morals, ethics, all these things are ruled by Jupiter. So Venus is also not any less than Jupiter. However, as I said, he will try to be politically right. Okay, tries to find out the loopholes from it and try to be politically right. Jupiter does not find any loopholes. He would actually become a fool being in the fourth house, because as I must have explained it to you in the last time as well, fourth house Jupiter can look like a fool to the normal public because people will take advantage of them. Okay. And then frequent troubles for mother, health or insults, or too much work for the mother or too much work for the self. Okay. Responsibilities of extended family or general public. This also, because fourth house will rule the general public. So the person is either very responsible for the general public or the extended family of himself. Fifth thing of the Venus goes into eighth house. It's not an aspect. Whoever reads this, right, please read the whole video. If you don't watch it, some people are commenting, Venus does not have fifth house aspect. I know it. It is only that you did not read the whole video. You do not understand it. Okay. If you read the whole video, you'll understand it. So fifth gives the protection, or whatever is there in the fifth from the Venus, that is protected by the Venus. So it protects the inheritance to be transferred to kids at any cost. The person that has fourth house Venus, the advantage is he protects the inheritance and he will transfer it to the next generation. Then is the seventh aspect of Venus being in the fourth house. It will go to the 10th house. So there is a passionate, strict, or serious siblings, okay, or cousins or extended family thing. Serious boss or very passionate about work. Okay, he wants to work. Okay, and the Bhrugu Shatka happens from the 11th house. From the 11th house, this house, fourth house, will be in the sixth house. So it's difficult to enjoy comforts from friends or elder siblings. Okay. Venus in the fifth house, children or subordinates. Venus in the fifth house, you have emotional kids, children becoming kingly, subordinates or highly intelligent people, extramarital relations due to emotion. Okay, Venus being either in the third or the fifth or the seventh or the ninth or the 11th, you can catch up extramarital affairs, but just not merely having fifth house Venus. It's not necessary that you catch up with extramarital affairs. There are at least 10 things that you need to cross check to pronounce any of these. Okay. However, if you have fifth house Venus, and if there is a extramarital affair, just in case, if there is, for different combinations, then it will be because of the emotional support that you will need. Okay, because fifth deals with the emotion. Or the other person needs, and this person, I mean, the native tries to, fulfill that emotional thing which that other person is lacking. Okay. And from the fifth that falls on ninth. So Venus tries to protect the fifth house from wherever it is. So it protects the ninth house in this case. The protection happens for the father, the boss, the guru, the shastras, the rules. Somebody has to follow strict rules. Venus will impose that. You have to follow strict rules no matter what. The rules are protected. It's common for all. Okay. He'll make very strict rules. All right. And the seventh aspect will go on to the 11th house. That is a passionate, serious elder siblings or friends. The elder siblings are very serious or very passionate, or even the friends are very passionate or very serious. Okay. The Bhrigu Shatka happens from the 12th house. So no comforts despite spending money, losses of money, away from father's mother or mother's father. Okay, these are all represented by the 12th house. Mother's father is 9th from the 4th. Father's mother is 4th from the 9th. So there are no comforts from these people. So from wherever Venus is in the 6th house, from there the comforts are not coming. Okay, Venus in the 6th house. When Venus is in the 6th house, just look at who all Venus opposes. As Venus planet, it opposes Sun and Moon. If you look at if you look at Parashurama, then he was opposing all the kings. He was also one stood against Bhishma. Okay, but Bhishma is the disciple of Parashurama. So at last, it ended at a place where Bhishma and Parashurama were declared as equals, despite the fact that Bhishma was a disciple of Parashurama. So that is why people keep saying Mars is Bhishma, Venus is Parashurama, and both are equal. Okay, but if we think Mars is men and Venus are women, women are more important, or women are the guru of the males. Okay, Kartavirya Arjuna. And cows Rama and Vishnu, all these, because Venus is trying to stand against these people. Okay. And also another important thing to note in case of Venus is a planet who was either ahead of Sun or behind Sun. So when Venus is behind the Sun, Venus is very passionate. Okay. Venus is running very fast and passionate. So the more passionate the Venus is, the more the passionate the native is. Okay. So these results of the passion thing comes up only when you have Venus behind the Sun. When the Venus is ahead of the Sun, Venus has already given all the wealth to Sun, all the passion to Sun. And after that, Parashurama, what did he do? He did only tapas. Okay. He was doing only meditation, tapas, etc. So Venus becomes a lot passive after he crosses Sun. So always look at the position with respect to Sun for the Venus, and then you try to understand all these, all these positions. The more the passionate the Venus is, more clear are the results pronounced. Okay. Venus likes to win every battle because Parashurama never lost a battle. Okay. Similarly, Venus ultimately has made a guy called Bali, King Mahabali, who even the Vishnu could not do anything. Ultimately, what he did is, look, Bali, I'm only sending you to the netherworld, and after this Manvantara is over, then only please come back and rule this world as Indra. Okay, he could not even deny his wish. Look at the kind of person Venus is. Venus is just an ordinary person. Vishnu is a god. Look at him. Okay, so Venus will win every battle that he has waged. Okay. And although he will win, he will give up after that because Venus exalts in the 12th house. Venus debilitates in the 6th house. So while he was winning, he was all unhappy. Venus was all unhappy, or Parashurama was all unhappy, or completely filled up with anger while he was trying to win over all the kings. Once he has achieved the objective of winning everyone and killing everyone, all the kings were killed when Parashurama was ruling, excepting the Sun Vamsha and the Moon Vamsha, or the what is called the Inakula and the Chandrakula, or the Surya Kula and the Chandra Kula. Surya Kula is the Kula of Rama, Chandra is the Kula of the Pandavas. Okay, only these two families were not killed, and a few other small families were not killed. Otherwise, everybody else were killed by Parashurama. So it's only an understanding that wherever, so who would wage a war? All the Kshatriyas would wage a war. So he has killed everyone. So Venus is even more powerful sometimes than the Sun and the Mars. Okay, Venus alone can help you out from any problem because of the passion that he has to come out of a problem. But while the problem he is experiencing, Venus in the 6th house, a lot of people think Venus in the 6th house is a debilitation position, at a bad position, this and that. Not necessarily. Venus in the 6th house can also do very big wonders. Venus in the 6th house can be very good. Okay, depending on many conditions. So never think, oh my God, I've got a debilitated Venus, I've got a exalted Jupiter. Nothing is great, nothing is bad. Okay, it will have both the positives and the negatives, despite any good placement or any bad placement. Okay, so Venus is trying to do a lot of physical work. Venus is meant for enjoying comforts. What does Venus do? Venus tries to educate these Rakshasas, or the Parashurama, the Shukracharya is trying to educate the Rakshasas, and he's trying to put them into order. Okay, and trying to show them some discipline and tell them how to do, puja, how to do a war, how to do anything in life. There are Vedas, so you have to follow these. Devatas are following these things, and they have understood what discipline is, and that's why they are successful. As Rakshasas, you guys do not understand anything because you are not following any proper routine. So you have to please sit down, teach, learn, understand, and teach it further to the next generation of people and make everybody a proper people. So in the next 3 generations, we will rule the whole world. Okay. 6th house, Venus, will try to win every battle. Okay. And will try to give up after winning the battle. Okay. Overly doing physical work. Okay. There can be good health because the Saumya Grahas like the Venus, Jupiter, Moon, these are Saumya Grahas, Mercury, these are all the benefic planets. Usually when placed in the 6th house, they would mean that recovery from illnesses is fast, but this is a very generic statement. Recovery from illnesses will depend on the dasha being run, and from there the 6th house has to be seen, even from here and also from the Navamsha. So if you're just looking at it from the Lagna's perspective, then 90% of the times you may fail. 10% may still work as a fluke. Okay. So Venus in the 6th house would mean, so what you can do is you can use these things from the Dasha Lord as well. Okay. Don't think it will work only from Lagna. It can work even from the Dasha Lord as well. I will teach you once you understand these basic things. So the overly doing of physical work, very good health, or recovery from diseases, angry when good people are troubled. This is what is very important. When you have 6th house Venus, the Venus is not fighting for himself. The Venus is fighting for those marginalized people because, look, why are you ill-treating them? Okay, I am standing up for them. This is what Venus will do when it is seeing a situation where marginalized people are being troubled. Okay, not necessarily a casteist thing or anything. Marginalized people does not mean it's just a lower caste people are being oppressed by the upper caste. No, not necessarily. Where you remove all the castes and everything, still there will be oppression in the world. You know why? Because when you are there to be oppressed, when you can accept oppression, there will be people to oppress. Okay, that is the rule of the world. Bigger people always, or the bigger fish always ate the smaller fish. That is the rule of the world. That is how the world will survive. This is the Leela of the god. Okay, but Venus wants to establish some balance. That is what he's trying to do. Why always the big fish will eat the small fish? Let the small fish also eat the big fish. Okay, he's trying to establish the other side of it. It may seem very unrealistic for you if I say that the smaller fish can also eat a bigger fish. Yes, it can, because let us suppose there is a big lion, and if there are what is that, hyenas around, there are 7 hyenas around it, they are going to kill the lion and eat away the lion in a jiffy. They will not be afraid. You must see the National Geographic where the lions are being eaten away by the hyenas. There are 5 of them and just one lion, and it's a little old lion as well. So the lion will be eaten away, and the lion will be very afraid to face more than 3 or 4 hyenas, because it knows that they're going to eat it. Okay. So that can happen. So talking openly with everyone, he's trying to say a lot of things openly with everyone. Outspoken, you can say; candid, you can say. So that is why the Venus actually represents the second house, the talking, the nicest talking that you can do, that comes from the Venus. Venus debilitates in the 6th house because he does not like to wage a war. Okay, he doesn't want to wage a war. He only wants to establish the equilibrium in the whole thing. If there is no equilibrium, and if there are a lot of oppression happening, that is when the Venus will come there. Okay. And helping everyone, there is a lot of loans that are being repaid. Interests are there. Court cases are there. Okay. These are such things that can happen. However, for loan interests, court cases, for all such things, you have to observe the D9 chart. Without that, just merely having a Venus in the 6th house, no. Okay. 6th house Venus, emotional responsibilities of many. Talking to everyone openly, not minding about enemies, father's job loss or career issues, etc. Okay. And protecting the company or siblings at any cost, because father's job loss is because from the 9th house, Venus will be in the 10th house. So the father may not be interested in working very well unless the Venus is debilitated or something. Unless the Venus is very, very low or very high, becomes difficult for the father to work. However, you still have to see the other dashas and things like that. Okay. Protecting the company or siblings at any cost. That is because the 5th thing, or the 5th protection of Venus, that goes on to this 10th house, because we're talking about the 6th house. From the 6th house, if you count 5 houses, you get the 10th house. So Venus protects the 5th house from wherever it is sitting, and it is going to protect the company or siblings at any cost. This is what he is looking at. Okay, so in a discussion, who is the marginalized person? If the marginalized person is a sibling, then there is a big fight, right? Or the sibling feels he is marginalized and he is fighting with this person. Both can happen. 7th house Venus, okay? 7th house, I mean to say 6th house Venus, the 7th aspect goes on to the 12th house. There is a serious or passionate mother's father or father's mother, or more expenses of waste of money. Okay. 6th house Venus, the only thing is, the person is very passionate about spending away money very fastly. This is one thing that can be possible. Okay. And giving up all comforts and practice helping others, physical help mostly. That is why usually people think 6th house Venus is not good. However, you have to understand these things very, very deeply. Okay. The person is giving up all the comforts. It means that he needs to have comforts, right? You can give up only when you have them, right? And he's trying to help a lot of people. You have to understand this clearly. Bhrugu Shatka or the Venus in the sixth house is generally not good for muhurtas, okay, especially for marriage, etc. If the election of time, it has Venus in the sixth house, it is not recommended. It is not necessarily necessary that individual horoscopy also follows the same rules. They are different rules. Okay, for each thing, there are different rules. You cannot have same rules for everything. If you have to cook an eggplant, then you have a different recipe. If you have to cook sambar, then it is a different recipe. You cannot have same recipe, right? Because the events are two different things. All right, Venus in the seventh house. Venus, people take advantage of the emotional side of this people. So Venus in the seventh house, I'll give you a simple example. You can still read the whole thing. Venus in the fifth house, the thing is, there is a lady, let us suppose, I'm using most ladies examples today. There's a lady who goes to work and also cooks at home. It's like the Chitra thing that we talked about in the Nakshatras, where a lot of work is being done by the lady by working at the office, at a bigger position, having responsibilities in the office and also delivering a lot of responsibilities at the home. Besides that, people are taking an advantage of this lady and trying to put all the emotional troubles to her, and they take advantage of it. Okay. So that is one more thing you can see from seventh house Venus. And also seventh house Venus is falling in love due to emotions. If somebody is crying, this fellow may fall in love with her because she's crying and he's trying to console her. Okay. So I'm not saying for sure this will happen, but if somebody is crying, these people are trying to help because it's the seventh house and Venus is there. Venus is trying to help the marginalized people. Who would cry? A marginalized fellow only will cry. Okay. Not necessarily, right? It can be a cry which is just only to show it to public that, look, I'm crying. Even that can happen. Emotional responsibility of partner or spouse. So the partner does not have proper emotion thing, and this lady is trying to help the partner as well on the emotional side. Okay. Trying to get some balance. Okay. And the fifth thing goes on to the 11th house. So protecting elders or friends at any cost. Anything that goes into the 11th house, okay, that also is protected by the Venus in the 7th house. So the 7th aspect goes into the 1st house. So it's a very radiant personality or a very serious or a passionate spouse that the person will get. And it is going to be a good combination. Most times the rise will come after the marriage. Okay, after the marriage is over, because Venus is a planet which is going to give some fortune as well, some comforts as well. So wherever the Venus is, based on that, also you can see when the comforts are coming. So 7th house is marriage. So with that, the comforts are coming. Okay, no comforts from the money earned or people in the family, because Venus will be in the 6th house from the, Venus will be in the 6th house. Did I go wrong here? Okay, Venus will be, okay, 7th house. Okay, Venus will be in the 6th house from the 2nd house. Okay. So from there, what you can see is no comforts from the money that he has earned, or no people in the family are supporting him or her for earning money. The expectation is usually when you're earning money, right, you will be able to spend some money of it. Most of the times, the money could not be spent by the native. It is either the spouse decides, or the spouse in-laws or spouse's mother decides, or the father decides where the money has to be spent. Okay. Because of the 2nd house thing. From the 2nd house, Venus is in the 6th house. All right. Venus in the 8th house. Venus in the 8th house, you can see transformation, night, black magic, tantra, occult interests, bad habits,
pawn interests. These are such things that can happen with the Venus in the 8th house. We can also see that most of the times the child before the native is born, the mother had an abortion. Okay. Many times we can see this when you have Venus in the 8th house. Not necessary, but many times we can see this. First thing is Venus in the 8th house. There is emotional responsibilities of partners or in-laws. Okay. Emotional responsibility of them. I mean, trying to assure them, look, everything will be emotional responsibility, something like this. I told you in the first house as well. Trying to assure them that, look, everything will be all right. I'm there, right? If something goes wrong, I'll take care. Don't worry. That is what I'm talking about, emotional responsibility of the partners or the in-laws. Okay. And then the 5th house thing, it goes into the 12th house, protection of expenses or increase of wastage. Okay. So whenever it goes into the 12th house, right, a lot of money is wasted because Venus is for the giving away of things, because Venus exalts there in the 12th house. A lot of money goes waste when you have 8th house Venus, or the person is not trying to spend because anyway, a lot of money is wasted. Let me not spend now. So either the money is very tight-fisted man sometimes and very, very open sometimes. So this keeps changing. Okay. And then you have 7th thing, it goes on to the 2nd house, a passionate family, very bright voice quality. Okay. Because the 7th aspect goes on to the 2nd house. And also Venus in the 8th house, I don't know, I've written it here. Venus in the 8th house is very interested in mantras, tantras, understanding the mantras, the meanings of the mantras, the meanings of the stotras, and going into the deepest possible for the mantras. So why did this mantra came? What is it used for? How it can be used for, and all that stuff. The person will be very interested in. Okay. 8th house Venus is 6th from the 3rd house. So not able to enjoy the comforts from the siblings or partners or sexual intercourse. Siblings, you understood, it's the 3rd house. Partners, in the sense, even the 3rd house is an enterprise, comes from the 3rd house. So partners are the business partners. Sexual intercourse, anyway, you'll understand that. Venus in the 9th house. Venus in the 9th house, the father or the boss. What does the 9th house represent? I mean, the Jamadagni and the Angirasa. These are the Jamadagni is the father of Parashurama. Angirasa is the guru of Shukracharya and also the father of Jupiter. Okay. The guru was Angirasa. Okay. Father of Jupiter. Now you see, both Jupiter and Venus studied at the same guru. So what Venus felt was, what Shukracharya felt was, this man Angirasa is a little biased. He's trying to teach more to his son or the grandson. Sometimes people say grandson, sometimes son. Anyway, either way you take it, for his people, he's trying to teach more, and for me, less. Okay. So there is some bias in him. And Venus kept on changing gurus. He started to learn from many, many gurus. Okay. So you can see this happening, as I said, the change of gurus. Okay. And then what are all those, let's see, all the ninth house rules. 9th house rules the rules. What are all the protocols that you have to follow? What is the dharma that you have to follow? Dharma is nothing but rules. And luck. 9th house is the luck, that is the bhagyasthana. 9th house rules the gurus, the bosses, the mentors, and setting up an example and raising the bar high for other people. This also comes from the 9th house, because we will hold the dharma very high, right? And sun is the karaka for the 9th house. Sun is Rama. Ramo vigrahavan dharma. So Rama always upheld dharma. So raising the bar high and keeping it high. Okay. And higher education comes from the 9th house. Traveling, jobs, fortune, future, long distance traveling, growth, bhagya, everything comes from here. 9th house Venus, emotional father, losses to father when the native was born. The boss is biased. Okay. Or there are issues with boss. There are relations with boss. Okay. Poor relations with boss, not relations with boss, or poor relations with boss. Okay. And then you have the fifth house protection goes on to the first house. So this person is trying to protect himself. Even if he has to cheat the guru, he will do it sometimes. Okay. You have to be careful when you're doing such predictions. You have to be very careful about the Arudha Lagna. You have to be careful about the D9. Just merely having the ninth house Venus, do not predict this. Not many times it happens. However, there is always a tendency of the person to actually evaluate the boss constantly. He keeps checking on his boss. Does this guy knows more than me or not? This is a very common thing that he will keep doing when you have ninth house Venus. Because Venus has always learnt more than the guru. Guru knows very little. The Jupiter knows very little than in comparison to Venus. Okay, even the guru's guru, the Angirasa also knew little in comparison to Venus, because Venus changed multiple gurus and he learned from a lot of people. And he had a constant, thirst for knowledge. He went on learning, and whenever he learned, he always felt the previous guy was not enough. Okay, the previous guy was not worth. Okay, it is not a bad thing. It is not a good thing. Always trying to, evaluate the boss. Even in case of Swami Vivekananda as well did that, right? A lot of people will say that he was constantly trying to check whether this man is the right guru for me or not, correct? I don't know if his various Venuses, I don't remember. Okay. Why I said the Vivekananda's example is it's not that every time you have a bad thing, but the tendency is that the person keeps checking on that. Okay. Emotional father. Okay, I've completed this. Protecting self no matter what happens. So this person may not help the boss when there is a situation where the boss is drowning. Chances are there, good chances are there that this person wipes off his hands and leaves. Okay, there are good chances of that. Unafraid initiatives by the native. However, where do you confirm that? You have to always look at D10. Okay, don't do a prediction just by playing one thing. Unafraid initiatives by the native, because third house is aspected by Venus with the seventh aspect. So this person is very unafraid to take up any initiative. Okay. That is why I said he can change a guru abruptly, leave this office, join another office suddenly. He will not think, because for him, his self-improvement is very much required. Okay, if this guru does not know enough thing, why should I spoil my life? Which is fair enough, which is not wrong. Okay. He'll change his job and work elsewhere, right? And the Venus will be in the sixth house from the fourth house. Okay. So not enjoying comforts from own house, mother or car, own car or extended family. Okay. Mother may be away. Okay. Or mother is not there. Or own house is a dream. Or even if he has built an own house, he's not able to stay inside it, away from it, etc. All that stuff. Venus in the 10th house. A lot of people think this is a bad placement. Venus is losing the directional strength. No, not like that. No placement is bad. No placement is good. What did Venus do? Okay, so Venus in the sense, now Parashurama, what work did he do? He always helped his father and also waged wars with big people. Okay, Kshatriyas, the kings. What the other thing that he do? He did tapas. Okay, so then is he also knew Sanjeevani. What does Sanjeevani means? He's trying to rejuvenate or regenerate or re-establish or repair. So majorly the job includes something that involves re-establishing something, repairing something. Okay, that was already there. Once it was there, gone. Now this person is trying to re-establish it. Okay, even that can be possible. Okay, or coaching people. What did Shukracharya do? Constantly teaching people below him. So this person is a teacher and he's teaching them. Okay, and trying to interpret the orders, trying to interpret dharma, shlokas very clearly, and also use Sukraniti, as I said in the fourth house thing, and trying to understand what are all the loopholes here and how do I make use of these loopholes for my benefit. Okay, which is not a wrong thing, because sometimes what happens, if there is a contractual clause being laid in a document, if you get a guy who understands how to interpret this and how you can protect yourself from that contract, levying something over you, then you need a very good Venus. You need the right Venus there. Okay, so loopholes sometimes are good. Okay, leading a big team to fight a competition. Now let us look at this. What did Venus do, as I kept saying all through? Shukracharya got hold of Rakshasas and said, look, you are not anyway, smaller than the Devatas. I will make you capable. Just have some discipline. Okay, follow some Rita. Okay, or the Nirrita. There are three things. One is Rita, Anrita, and the Nirruta. Rita is the god that the Devatas follow. Anruta is the Asatya or the dark matter. And Nirruta is opposite of the Rita. That means if the Devatas are ruling, it is Rita. If the Rakshas are ruling, it is called as Nirruta. Okay. I mean, the order is different. That's all. That means, let us suppose if the planets Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, this is the order. And sometimes it is said that in the different manvantaras, the planet's order will be changed. Okay, so it may so happen that Earth will be after Mars. Okay, it can also happen, not necessarily that you will have the same. Maybe once Earth is swallowed back once again by the sun and everything forms once again, Earth can come after the Mars also. Okay, that is what the Hinduism believes. It's called as Nirrita. And that is when the king Bali will come back and rule. That is called as the Manvantara. Okay, this has happened many times, and we are in one of those Manvantaras. Okay, and reorganizing things, prioritizing tasks. Okay, what did Venus kept on saying? Guys, you don't have discipline. First thing is get in discipline. Do things as per a schedule. So this person makes a schedule for the day for all these people. So 10th house Venus, the person is making schedules. Okay, the person may have affairs at workplace because 10th house is the office and Venus is about affairs. However, you can't jump in and say, look, okay, 10th house Venus, or you have affairs at workplace. No. Okay, there's a lot of things that needs to happen for it. When we come into divisional charts, etc., we will try to see how do affairs happen and so on. But I'm not very interested in doing such things, because I'm not very interested in getting into the personal lives of other people. I'm very averse to it. Trying to win by hook or crook. So Venus in the 10th house, the person will keep fighting till the last breath. He will not leave it. Okay, which is a very good thing. So having Venus in the 10th house is no way bad. It is a very good thing. Okay, he will not leave it. So there's no question of giving it up, like like Jupiter in the 10th house. The person gives up very easily because it's the Jupiter, right? Venus can't give up. Okay. However, these are very generic predictions. Okay, you have to see the D10 for it, for any of these things to fructify. Okay, Venus in the 10th house emotionally motivates the whole team with his advice. That is what the Shukracharya did. Okay, he got hold of all the Rakshasas and said, look, why are you afraid of Venus and the Devata, afraid of Vishnu and Devatas? We can also form a very good team. We are equal in number. Actually, we are more than them in number. So we can multiply even faster than them. Devatas cannot multiply themselves. Rakshasas can multiply, right? Devatas are cursed by the Parvati that they cannot multiply. There will only be 33 people. We can multiply, right? We can spread all across. We can work even at night. We are actually more powerful than them. The devatas cannot work at night. They only come in the morning. All through the night we can work. There is no sunlight, so we can do a lot of mischief as well, and we can still win. However, we still have to follow dharma, like the Vishnu does. He also does the mischief. He also helps the devatas by doing mischief, but he's still following the dharma. So we have to be correct from our end. Then only we can do the mischief. So let us do correct ourselves and then stand. So these people are usually fighting a very big competition. Okay. 10th house Venus, the person is actually assuming very big of himself that, look, I'm a big guy. I can fight the other man. Fight doesn't physically mean physical fighting. It can still mean competing with someone. Let us suppose you have I don't know, take any FMCG company, big company. Okay. I don't want to name a company, assume it. And you want to start another one of it, say similar company if you want to start. And that company will be in billions of revenue. You would be zero today, and you will think, look, I will beat him. There's nothing wrong in thinking so. If you can't think so, it means that your Venus is very weak. Okay. If you can think so, it means that your Venus is very, very strong. Doesn't matter even if your Venus is debilitated. If you are thinking that I can fight a very big competition, it means that your Venus is absolutely great. Okay. If you think that, look, they are big guys, how can I fight such big people? Even if your Venus is exalted, it means that your Venus is very, very weak. Okay. It does not depend on whether your Venus is exalted or debilitated, 12th house, 6th house, 8th house, nothing like it. It depends on what are you thinking about your competition. How big is your competition? How giant is your competition? That great is your Venus. Okay. If you're thinking that 8th house Venus is bad, 6th house Venus is bad, 12th house Venus is bad, then those classes will interest you. You can go there and listen, and ultimately you will learn nothing. Okay. The truth is, if you think that I can fight a bigger competition than what I am, your Venus is absolutely great, no matter where your Venus is. Okay. Then why do you need horoscopy is what you will think. No, you will still need horoscopy. You will eventually understand if you do not. Okay. Passionate, or because if your Venus is good, and suppose someone think, what happens with these remedial people, right? There are a lot of people who are giving remedies. Okay, your Venus is in the 6th house, please do this remedy. What is the use when your Venus is very good? You have to talk to the person to understand. If he, while talking itself, you will know whether the Venus of the person is good or not. Even if he is debilitated in the 6th house, then also his Venus is very good. Why do you need a remedy for him? You don't need it. You instead need a remedy for some other planet. So you are giving a wrong remedy. So that is why I'm saying, unless you understand the whole stuff, you will still keep giving remedies and none of the remedy will work just because of this. Okay, that is why you need to understand that. Passionate or serious mother, because you have the 7th aspect over the 4th house. So the mother is very passionate, the mother is very serious, or the mother, you can't crack jokes with her, or not much of a sense of humor. Okay. Or she's a very passionate lady, wants to achieve a lot of things in life. Okay. And then you have the 5th house. Venus will be in the 6th house from the 5th house if Venus is in the 10th house. So not able to enjoy comforts from the subordinates or the children. This is what happens when Venus is working, right? All these people cannot help Venus. Venus only can help the Rakshasas, but the Rakshasas cannot in turn help the Shukra. Although they can give him a few comforts, what does a Brahmin need? He would need a small piece of land to do some tapas, that's all. Okay. However, when he is fighting or trying to make a plan or something, because Venus is doing a job which nobody else can do. Okay, so Venus cannot be supported by other planets. It is the Venus that always supports the other planets. Okay. Venus in the 11th house. 11th house, again, I've listed down the brothers of Parashurama, Rumanvanta, Shuhatra, Vasu, and Vishwavasu. These people are very competent. These are rich people because 11th house Venus, you may have rich friends, competent elder siblings or richer elder siblings, or siblings who are, showing up a lot, who are trying to, show some false prestige kind of a thing. And last minute changes in career plans. That is what you can see from the Venus in the 11th house. They'll say, they'll keep saying, look, I'll become a doctor all through their life. And suddenly in the 12th class or so, they will change their plan and say, look, I'll become an architect suddenly. Where from this came, nobody knows. Earnings from women or spouse or opposite sex, because 11th house is the Ishtapurta. So you have Venus is the female opposite sex. So you may get money from women. This can be in the form of dowry, in the form of money that as a salary that comes to the wife. Okay. And things like that. Or maybe suddenly something comes in after the wife has moved in. Okay. Effective utilization of resources to win more money. So Venus here is focused more about earning. And wherever Venus is there, he's only trying to earn. The more the passionate the Venus is, more he's trying to earn. How do you know whether it is passionate or not? If the Venus is behind the sun, it is passionate. Whereas after the sun in the longitude, it is less passionate. Okay, or it is already passive. So emotional responsibility of siblings or friends, because 11th house Venus. The fifth thing goes into the third house. So the person is trying to protect his siblings. Seventh aspect goes into the fifth house. You have a very serious or passionate children. Okay, so serious, passionate would mean the children are trying to establish themselves and they want to move at a very fast pace in life. Okay, and eighth from the Venus, that is the sixth house. Okay, hates enemies. And hates enemies, accidents are there, cannot enjoy comforts from mother's siblings. Okay. So Venus in the 12th house, spirituality, bedroom, last stage of Parashurama, donation. Okay. So Venus in the 12th house, what I have seen with the people in the general sense is Venus in the 12th house, I know at least 6-7 people. All these people are like, okay, look, if I employ people from outside, right? Anyway, they'll eat the company. There will be some or the other way there is some corruption or something. It's common in these days. So let me employ the people that I know, even if he's eating 10 rupees more than those people who I do not know. I'm at least sure that my people are eating. Okay, you just look at the logic. If I'm employing people from outside, they may do some corruption, but they will develop. Why I should allow it? Instead, I'll put my people, like my siblings, children, my friends' children, my friends, and so on. They may also still do some malpractice or unethical practices, or maybe even if they're ethical and so on, it will be they who will be benefited, right? It will be my people. Venus is looking at my people. Okay, because Venus is the selfish person. Venus is the sperm, right? What does the sperm do? It runs as fast as possible. It runs as fast as possible because who runs faster will fertilize. Everybody else are going to die. So Venus is the most selfish. So it is trying to help its own people, right? So enhances spending. The person is trying to live a life of an overly rich person, flaunt. Okay, keeps changing, clothes more often. Okay, even I mean, not just women. I know at least three of my friends are having Venus in the 12th house. I usually, it's very unusual for me to see people like that. They keep at least 3 shirts, 2 pair of shoes in the car, and whenever they think that there is a small thing that happened to the shirt, they will immediately change the shirt. I have not seen men carrying 3 or 4 pairs of shirts with them, or pairs of clothes with them always, even when they are going to go back in the evening. I never carry. It's very difficult for me to think of to shirt or to change a shirt in the afternoon. Very, very rare. Although I worked in a site, I never did that. Okay, and also keep a lot of expensive shoes, or a flashy, flashy footwear. They need flashy, so it means that it's Venus in the 12th house. They need flashy clothes. They need branded clothes. They need to look very false prestige kind of a thing. Okay, when it is on the wrong side, when you think it's on the wrong side. On the right side, they want to flaunt. They want to be visible in front of a lot of people. That is usually there. When you have Venus close to the Lagna, right, either in the first house, 12th house, in the second house, this is very common. Okay. As it moves farther away from the Lagna, this goes off. And when the Venus is in the 6th house, etc., people do not care much about their clothes. They're very dull, actually. That is one more point which I thought maybe I could have put it there, but I never did that. But it's because it's still a very generic thing. Okay. Enjoys every moment in life. This man, no matter what happens, all those three people I know, they have debts like huge things, but they still enjoy life. Every day they sleep very properly. And if I see such kind of people, I get a lot of inspiration from them, because I'm worried for the smallest things. General public are worried for the smallest things. And if you see these kind of people, their confidence, for the people who have 12th house Venus, first house Venus, and the second house Venus, no matter what happens, they're very confident that look, I will regain some or the other day. I will bounce back. Okay, that is the best thing that Venus can do when you have it close to the Lagna. The farther it is, the confidence of the person goes down, unless there is a big planet on this side towards the Lagna. Okay. Doesn't care much about the expenses unless in Saturnine signs. Okay, should refrain from affairs, because 12th house Venus looks at purity in relationships. If you have bad relationships, or if your bedroom is not clean, in the sense you have relationships with anybody, uh, you know one night stands, etc. It's not good for the Venus that is there in the 12th house, and it can bring in losses for the person. Okay. Emotional responsibility of expenses. So somebody questions him, why these are the expenses. He would say, look, I will pay you back. Don't worry. Don't ask me too many questions on why these expenses are. Okay. He'll come and say, okay, you're thinking this expense is very big. Okay, I'll pay that money back. Okay. That is the kind of person he is. Fifth Venus. So Venus protects the fourth, being in the 12th house, it protects the fourth house with his fifth thing, which is the person protects his mother at any cost. And the seventh Venus, or the aspect of seventh of the Venus, goes into the 6th house. The mother siblings are very passionate or serious in life. They've achieved something. They're very passionate people or serious people, or very giant-like looking people. And eighth from the Venus that goes into the 7th house, unable to enjoy comforts from business partners or spouse. This can be due to traveling. The person is mostly traveling, so the spouse stays at home. So the bed comforts are sometimes missing, or the partners are also staying away from this man. So it is the responsibility of this person to actually bring business or things like that. So he's not able to enjoy comfort from the business partners also. Or most of the time, this person tries to provide everything to them, the comforts to the other partners, but the other partners are not reciprocating the same to this person. More or less, this is what is all about the Venus. Any questions anyone have? Anyone has any questions, you can ask. Yeah, Ustad.
Sir, I wanted to ask about the Venus in sixth house placement.
Hmm.
Like Venus in sixth house,
Hmm.
the negation point will become the first house itself. So this person, will he live in self-denial or be oblivious to the fact that he is being exploited by other people?
No. Venus in the sixth house is Venus is meant for enjoying comforts. Okay. Wherever Venus is there, he's trying to build on comforts. He's not meant to work physically. However, Venus in the sixth house is trying to work physically, trying to communicate with everyone, trying to establish things very fastly. People are not giving him enough respect. All these things are there in the sixth house Venus. However, it is very good for people who are doing a lot of physical work. Okay. Shuttle, let's suppose I'll give you an example. I know two relatives of mine have Venus in the sixth house. What they do is they try to help everyone. Because Venus, what does Venus do? Venus tries to help the marginalized people. Venus in the sixth house is not trying to help the marginalized people. They're trying to help both sides of the people. Okay, they will talk to both sides of the people. They will not limit themselves from unnecessary talking. Or Venus is a person who doesn't talk too much. He rules the second house. He talks very very crisply. No too much of talking. These people talk too much. Okay, and these people try to address every problem of others, which Venus is not meant to. Does that work, or you still are?
Yes, but my question was regarding the rule that whatever house
Hmm.
Venus is sixth from,
Hmm.
you said that thing will be denied. So in this case, the first house itself is
Hmm.
in sixth from the Venus.
Hmm.
No, it will be eighth from Venus. Oh, am I right?
You're
The
right.
first house will be denied. Yes.
Yes.
So my question was, will the person live in self-denial, or will he remain oblivious to the fact that he is being exploited by others?
Yes, there will be exploitation by others. Yes, correct. But
And will
he's
he
still
also,
okay. He's still okay with that.
okay, so he will remain in denial that others are exploiting him, but he will still help.
Yes. He thinks he's there
Yes,
to help.
hmm, that's what my observation is. So in
Yeah.
today's lecture,
Hmm.
particularly, there was no charts which I have on which these all the things which you have told does not apply. I mean, on every chart, it is applicable. Whatever you have told.
So you're saying whatever I
Today
have said
was,
here is all the charts that you have, all are matching. Am I right?
yes,
Okay.
yes,
Okay.
100%. It is matching, and this has happened first time. Else, I'll always have some or the other queries, but today I don't have many queries,
Mhm.
and
But you
it
still
actually
asked one
matches.
of those queries. Can you just
Yes,
give me a
because
little more description about the people that you have in mind that those are connected to the sixth house
yes,
Venus?
like no, sixth house Venus, the person what he'll do is he won't work much.
Hmm.
He's a computer engineer and he'll keep playing games. But
Hmm.
if anyone comes to ask money from him or comes with any kind of problem,
Hmm.
he'll put out everything on aside
Hmm.
and he'll listen to all their problems and he'll give money just like that. Even if he doesn't have, he can arrange money on calls and he'll on his name he'll give money to others. He'll
Hmm.
loan money.
Hmm.
And I was shocked, like, how can you do that? You don't have any backups. He
Hmm.
is like, chill yaar, aa jayenge. And I don't get how he is able to achieve that.
Hmm.
And until now, he has helped every single person I have
So how
known.
many how
And
many
he'll
charts
tell me only
you think you're comparing with this result of the sixth house Venus thing? One, two, three. How many?
in the sixth house, not only sixth house. Ninth house Venus, 12th house Venus matched. Like sixth house Venus matched in one case. The person I know, it totally matches. Even I have Venus in Virgo, so a lot of sixth house things will come also. So today's lecture was like, I don't understand what to ask.
Okay, good. Good to hear. I thought I completed this very fast today. I'm not sure whether the whole thing was delivered or not, but Venus is a very big thing to understand. If you had read all these stories, you can connect to them very easily. Please go back, read these stories. These are very interesting. You will not forget any of them then.
Like Venus in 12th house also, you said the people will not be able to get together. That is also true. The husband and the wife both are very, I mean, they want to spend more time in bed. I know them, okay?
Yeah.
But somehow the responsibilities get to them and they are so tired when they go to bed
Yeah.
that they both are, even after loving each other, they are not able to spend too much time because of all the family responsibilities and all.
Okay.
So they, it is amazing. All things apply today.
Great. Good to hear. Anybody else has any comment?
Sir, I have a question.
Good. Ask.
So you mentioned that when Venus is behind the sun, it is more passionate, and when it goes beyond, that is when the degrees are higher, then it's probably more towards the
Tapas.
self-reflective or tapas side, right?
It's a passive Venus. Correct.
Right. So, why is it in this way? Like, is it because it has already conquered the major light giver or something? Like, I
That's
couldn't
why I said, right?
get.
Did you watch Ramayana when Parashurama met the Rama?
Oh, you mean from the last lecture?
No. Did you ever watch Parashurama meeting Rama? Do you know that Parashurama and Rama met once? Lord Rama and
Yeah, I think
Parashurama.
so.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not very
While
familiar with the story.
the wedding of Rama was happening, Parashurama came up suddenly into the wedding hall and said, there can be only one Rama in this world. I am Parashurama. I'm the god, right? Who are you? You're a kid. And what did you do? You have broken the Shivadhanas, right? Shiva is a person not meant for Dhanas. Okay, Vishnu is the person who rules Dhanas. I have got the Vishnu Chapa or the Vishnu Dhanas. Take this and hold it. And you know what? Rama is the avatar of Vishnu himself. So the moment Vishnu Dhanas was shown to Rama, Rama held it much better than what he was holding. And the moment he held the Dhanas, it will be shown that Parashurama had Garva Bhanga, right? So Parashurama lost all his ego and he became passive immediately.
Okay.
Okay. And
Okay,
Rama said, now you said there cannot be two Ramas in this world. Go away from this world. Now he went to Kerala and he requested the Samudra to go back and he got Kerala out of the ocean. And that is why it is called as Parashurama Kshetra. That is where he was doing the tapas on the Mahendragiri. There are two versions of it. Once he met Kashyapa, who is the source of Rama. Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now that you mentioned Mahendragiri, I think, however, Mahendragiri is in Orissa, right? So
There are many Mahendragiris all through. Okay. There are many Mahendragiris all through. Please read, please understand the or watch a movie for better understanding.
Okay. And just one question. I was trying to, as the lecture was going on, I was trying to correlate to charts. I know. I'm wondering if if retrogression of planets affects these kind of
See, retrogression
general
will definitely will definitely show up, but the magnitude is going to increase. The result will still come.
Okay.
Yeah. I will deal with retrogression separately. Okay, there will be one class or two classes. I want to do it whenever I complete all the planets. I don't know when we'll do that, because I need to make a text for it. I'm not finding time. Okay, once the planets are over, then I'll make a text for the retrogression. But for now, either the retrogression is there or not, the result will come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sir,
Yes.
what are the talents Venus can give if he is placed in trines in Navamsa?
I have not understood your question. I was half.
Sir, sir, actually in Navamsa, if any planet is in trines, na, sir, it gives talents to that relate to that planet, na, sir.
Right. I
If
gave you a
Venus
list,
is
right?
in,
Is available in the article. You can see this is given by Sanjay Rath. All of his students will use that. Where is it? Navamsha. Go to Navamsha. Okay. The Navamsha, you can see talents. Here it is. Go to talents. Usually Venus will give all the Lalita Kalas, all the artistic skills. Precise detailing, art, painter, poet, hums songs, tunes, writer, orator, artistic, government servant, education, teaching, high business acumen, Saturn, very passionate, like a movie star. It's all here. You can go here.
okay, sir. Sir, actually I have one doubt, sir.
Hmm.
Sir, Dhanishta Nakshatra, na, sir.
Hmm.
Dhanishta is connected to drum and flutes as per symbols.
Hmm.
Okay, sir.
Hmm.
If Saturn is placed in Dhanishta Nakshatra
Hmm.
and in Navamsa, if he placed in first house, can that person become flute player like flutist? Can he carry that energy of Dhanishta as a talent?
Look, Saturn will be in Dhanishta for how many days, you know?
More days, sir, like maybe 2-3 months.
So,
I don't know, 6 months, 6 months.
so every day in the Navamsha, how many times will it come to that place? Many
1 by
times.
4 times, sir.
Many times.
Many times.
You said in the Navamsha,
Okay.
Saturn is in the Lagna, right?
Okay, sir.
For each Navamsha, it will run all through the 9, right? So many times it will
Yes, sir.
keep going that circle, and everybody is becoming a flutist. No, right? Oh,
Okay, sir. Okay.
just give me a second. Give me a second. Okay, so I was talking about this. I was talking about this Dhanishta thing. Okay, so you can't generalize it like that. You have to see it first from the first house. Okay, I mean to say from the D1 chart. Okay, look at your Venus in the D1 as well. For you to be an artist, you need Sun. You have to look at your Sun. You have to look at your Venus. You have to look at your Dhanishta. Not only Dhanishta. There are so many stars that can make you musicians. I don't know how many I have described it there, but
Okay.
it's not like that. Okay. I'm not saying he will not become like that. I'm saying so many people will have that combination. Not everybody is becoming a flutist. Also look at the D10. The D10 has to show up Venus, Saturn, Sun also should be in good positions because you're a performer. If you have to be a flutist, then you have to be a performer, right? For which you need Sun as well. right?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
It's too difficult to generalize like that. Can't say.
Okay, sir.
Hmm. Any more questions? Done, is it?
So I have one question.
Yes.
Is there any reasoning for the the special aspects of the planets? Like how come some planets are having third and 10th aspect, whereas others are having eighth and
Someone, I don't
fifth
know
aspect?
if he's there in the class, he's called me up and said, this is one more thing that you can look up. Is he there? Somebody told me, called me up and said, this is the reason. Because I gave another logic of, the planets that start from the 8th house till the 1st house. 8th house is ruled by Mars. Jupiter rules the 9th house. 10th house is ruled by Saturn. 11th house again is ruled by Saturn. 12th house is ruled by Jupiter. First house is ruled by Mars. Only these planets have the special drishtis. It is because, if you hear Shukracharya, what he said is, Punarapi Jananam, Punarapi Maranam, Punarapi Janani, Jathare Shayanam. So life starts from the 1st house to the 8th house. And if you have to escape that channel of the 1st house, 8th house thing, you have to go to the 9th house, for which you have to cross the 8th house and the 1st house. That is why you have Mars aspecting the 4th house, Jupiter aspecting the 5th house, Saturn aspecting the 3rd house, 3, 4, 5, and then you have 8, 9, and 10. He gave me a very good analogy. I do not remember it right now because I was very busy. He called me up and said, this also is another point that you can look upon. I will ask him once again to send that. I will translate that back into English and send it here in the group.
So then basically the luminaries are not even the planets which are helping us to get out of the cycle.
Luminaries are there to keep us on the earth, right?
Okay, right.
Yeah. If you cannot escape. If you are escaping, you become the Sanat Kumaras. Read that lecture that I gave in Rohini. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. For the Prajapati to rule, see, Vishnu says, Vasanat Vasudevasya Vasitam Bhuvanatrayam. Why this whole world is living is because of the Vasana of the Vishnu. Okay. So for the Leela to happen, there have to be people. And if you are escaping rebirth, it means that you have got the moksha, and the God does not want that to happen. God means the sun and the moon are the gods. So they'll keep you back here. Okay. This is what my understanding is, but the other guy who called up and recently joined, only this class he's joined, he said, he gave a very good analogy, which I liked, but I don't remember it right now. Unfortunately, I generally do not forget these things, but somehow it went off my mind. I was either driving or in a very busy thing where I really forgot. I'll still ask him once again. It's a good reply that he gave me.
Yes, sir. If I could request, if you remember, could you please pen it on
I
the
don't remember
description
right
box
now. I
or
have to
comment?
ask him. I'll ask him and I'll send it out in the WhatsApp group that we have.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Ustad, you had another question? Okay, JK, go ahead.
Sir, I have a question. So when we go through the Parashurama story, at the end, he'll get the salvation from Dattatreya, right? Which we consider in astrology as Jupiter. So how can we predict like Jupiter aspect on Venus? Like, will it change its character? Obviously, it will change its characteristics. But how to predict, sir? I know you said that Venus will be the one who wins all the time, but here he obeys with Jupiter, or he fights with Jupiter, and
How do we know it?
he
It's
go
very
against.
simple. Very simple, right? Venus, does he fight Jupiter or not? How do we know? Or Jupiter, does he fight Venus or not? How do we know? Just simple. Use the Parashuri rules. What does Parashuri say? Parashuri says identify the Mula Trikona of the planet. From there, just see which houses they are ruling and then find out whether it is the enemy's house or the friend's house. Now look at the Libra. Libra is the Mula Trikona of Venus. Jupiter rules third and the sixth houses, but the sixth house is the exaltation sign of the Venus. So one sign is a friendly sign and the other sign is an enemy sign. So Jupiter is a neutral with respect to Venus, right? From Venus's drushti or Venus's angle, Venus thinks that Jupiter is my equal. Okay, understood?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Now look at it from the Sagittarius. From Sagittarius, which is the Mula Trikona of Jupiter, from Jupiter's Drushti Kona, what you will see is Venus is ruling the sixth house and the 11th house. So both are bad houses in case of with respect to Jupiter. So Jupiter thinks Venus is his enemy. Understood?
Oh, yes, sir. Yeah, got it.
But
So
this is a very
Jupiter.
generic thing. However, if they are together or if they are aspecting each other, it depends largely on the lagna from where the whole thing is happening and also in which nakshatra they are uniting and stuff like that. You can have, for example, if Jupiter and Venus are united in the Uttarashada nakshatra, it's a very different scenario. If they are in the Uttara Phalguni nakshatra, it's a very different scenario. Right?
Yeah. Okay, sir.
We have not come to that level of understanding right now. Let's agree that. If you are learning that first, then you will forget everything here. Be a little patient, you will come there. Eventually, you will learn that also.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Ustad?
Yes, sir. Regarding the artistic abilities, I wanted to ask whether Sun is the Karaka for rhythms. So, having any artistic talents has to come from Sun and Venus both, else it will not get dispensed. As in one case, I have seen the guy is
no. Listen, if you have both Sun and Venus, then it is a musician talent. If you have just the Venus, it can be a painting talent. Okay.
Only Venus painting talent. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And photographic memory.
Yes.
Okay, so I was looking at a musician's
It can
chart,
also be
that's why
poetry
maybe.
as well, right? So poetry usually is vak based. That means it comes out from the mouth. Somebody else is there to sit down and write as well. In the olden days, jo kavi the, they were only spelling the whole stanza, and there used to be lekhak. जो लिखते थे उनको लेखक कहते थे, right? So these people they were available as people to write. So people who were writing were different, who were saying the poetry were different. So Venus can give you poetry as well. He may not be having a very good handwriting just with Venus, because it needs Mercury as well, right? But these are very generic things. Even if you don't have Venus if that is the case, then for all the painters, you need to have Venus in the fifth house, first house, or ninth house only, right? Is this happening from the Navamsha Lagna? Not every time. Okay.
But in giving all talents, regarding music especially, I have seen Sun plays a big role.
Absolutely. You need to not only music, even for dancing, right? If you have to be a very good dancer.
Rhythm, yes.
Yeah, you need a Laya Jnana. Laya means the beat. For the Laya Jnana, you need Sun.
Yes.
Sun is a very important planet.
And one more question. Regarding the going out of this life and death cycle.
Yeah.
The biggest planets I will say are Rahu and Ketu, who gives us illusion that this world is an illusion itself. And the planets which keep us, which you said, sun and the moon, and all the luminaries. But from a mathematical point of view, 0 factorial is equals to 1. So if we go too much towards this moksha thing, then it's that itself becomes a trap.
Yes, yes. See, moksha can be attained if you do not have any desire, but having a desire for moksha itself is a desire.
Yes, that's what I like about mathematics. 0 factorial is equals to 1.
I'm very poor at mathematics. What do I do then?
No, that's something out of computer logics and thing. I was amazed at this thing. So I understood it in terms of philosophy. And even my teacher explained it, the mathematical teacher who was there in college. He was explaining Bhagavad Gita and that infinity. And I was blown away. What the hell is this guy saying? So now it connects.
Okay, good. Done for the day. Okay. No more questions are there. Let's say goodbye to each other. Thank you. You guys have been patient listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.